government. So whether one government or the other, how do we correct the system, Dr. Krishna?
But they cannot have, they could not have given permission. They
Okay.
could not have given permission for construction in these low-lying areas. It is impossible unless the master plan is amended. And once if it was amended, then there is no illegality. But if it was not amended, no authority could have given permission. And that should be exposed also. Who gave permission? It should come to light. Not only who built, but who permitted. That question also has to come. And I would also say that the master plan has to be published. People should know very carefully what are the areas where they cannot build or what are the land uses in different areas. It should be publicized more and more so people can themselves question, and go to the government that, so and so is constructing in the floodplains. So I think the efforts and the drive is very right. And it should be emulated by every state, every city, every state should start this drive. And not only that, I hope that very soon the reclaimed area, the area will be cleared and developed into park or whatever it is, wherever it has, whatever it has to be, it can be developed like. And people should see the benefit of it. Not only that wrong was done, but by removing the wrong, benefit has come to people. That should be also shown.
Dr. Krishna, I want to ask you a question, Dr. Krishna, that, for the benefit of the viewers, because I have read out statistics and also we will put more graphics about how will HYDRAA go about. Apparently, they are using the best of machines. Apparently, they are going about in a systematic fashion. But of course, notices have to be given, people have to be told much in advance. But for the benefit of the viewers, when we build on lakes, on water bodies, on buffer zones, what are the dangers of it, Dr. Krishna? Is it what we see in major today? Delhi rained and it's a flood here. As a child, I never saw Delhi being flooded. Chennai, it's the same story. Kolkata is the same story. Mumbai, Bangalore is the same story. So for the benefit, sir, Dr. Krishna, what happens when you build on these?
One, what you mentioned, that city gets flooded because the water doesn't reach the lake. Lakes are there, the foreshores are encroached. At the same time, in the summer season, we are short of water. Every major city feels scarcity of water because the water holding capacity of the lakes gets reduced, and the lakes are the terminal of the water flow. We have got nalas also. We have got drains, natural drains, which are all clogged and choked, full of filth, full of encroachment, plastic waste and all kinds of things are dumped and encroached upon in the natural drainage also. So we are paying the price for it. On the one hand, we have flooding, and flooding, what is happening because of flooding, the road surface is damaged. You get potholes. Once the flood water recedes, you get potholes. So you have to spend money on a lot of time is wasted, accidents happen. And so the total city life goes into, a tizzy and chaos. So, and of course, the beauty of the city. Cities are supposed to be beautiful, but can we say our cities are beautiful? Pockets are beautiful, all right. One park is beautiful, one local lake is beautiful, but the city's beauty in totality, it is spoiled, and cities get flooded, and cities get water scarcity and whatnot. And last but not the least, people lose respect for law. Because if you see encroachment here, you see encroachment there. When a child grows up, he cannot understand that there is a law in developmental activities. So you start developing some kind of immunity to law from the childhood itself, which is a very dangerous thing. So I think this drive is very
but
good.
Then, sir, I'm still wondering, how could people get permission like this? I'll come back to you. Shyam Prasad Meka, what the others, the opposition and also many experts are saying is that HYDRAA, it lacks legal statutory backing. It is not and also the other thing is that, look, many government offices, you live in Hyderabad, like apparently CCMB and GHMC, they are all located within the lakes FTL. What do you do? So two things, Shyam. One is it lacks statutory kind of legal backing, and the other thing is, what do you do with government? How could government officers come up? It's ridiculous, Shyam.
Yeah, so Sudha, I totally agree with Dr. Sudhir Krishna. He raised a very pertinent point. Nobody got the permission, frankly. That is the fact. That is how these things happen. What will happen? If I'm a big real estate goon, rich guy, I will manage it. I will manage the officers. I will find some people in the government. I will manage them. And then to safeguard my interests, suppose, say, if my party is in power, I'll get a couple of government offices also in the same, so that I am insured of it. They do it because they think they can get away with it. But nobody actually gets the permission on the paper. They have the audacity to think that they can get away with it because that's what they are experiencing for all these years. Somebody has stood up against this, and that should be welcome. Second, you are asking about, Dr. Sudhir Krishna, in fact, was mentioning maybe pockets of the city were beautiful and all that. No, the beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. You
I think
occupy
the next
full
hearing,
chancellor.
Sham. Then
You
next-
occupy the FTL and build a building and then put some beautiful, nice trees over there, put a lawn over there. People, we go there and think, we don't think long term, right? Just look at it and think, oh, wow, what a development. That's not enough.
Yeah, but you know, I just somehow, please, because you're the spokesperson for the party, Shyam Prasad Meka, I want to ask you that of course Revanth Reddy will take cognizance of the fact that the High Court has put a stay on it. But the next hearing, which is I think on the 21st, if I'm not wrong, I think he's made up his mind that he's going to finish this at a war footing. What is his intent? Is his intent is building brand Hyderabad, much like what once upon a time Cyberabad was done by, you know, the present Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu. What is his intent in doing this, Shyam Prasad Meka?
No, Sudha, first of all, High Court didn't put a stay on it. High Court only instructed the government to follow the procedure. We are following the procedure. Okay, okay, let's talk about it in the next hearing. Second point, it's not about building any brand or anything, or Revanth Reddy want to etch his name in the history books. Even if that is true, what is wrong? I'm okay, I'm happy if something good happens for the country, for the people. Because by being politically correct, we cannot address the environmental issues. Because unfortunately, the level of the society that we are living in will not accept politically anything that we do to save the planet. So somebody need to bite the bullet, and I am proud that our Congress Chief Minister is biting that bullet and standing for it.
Right. You know, I want to go to the other guest, Dr. Krishna. You know, this is an opposition leader, K.T. Ramarao, son of former Chief Minister, I'm sure you know, of Telangana, K. Chandrasekhar Rao. Now, the officials of HYDRAA paid a visit to him, and this is a farmhouse, and you know, it's called the Janwada farmhouse. Now, of course, KTR has said it belongs to my friend Pradeep Reddy or someone is trying to get out of it. But then he also said, but look, I got permission of the Sarpanch. Dr. Krishna, isn't it ridiculous that you can get permission of the Sarpanch to build an illegal, you know, construction? I mean, create a huge farmhouse with all the luxury and creature comforts, Dr. Krishna.
This Sarpanch will not be authorized to give permission against the master plan notified by the Greater Hyderabad, Development Authority or the Metropolitan Authority, which whosoever has the jurisdiction. So the master plan has to be there and must have been there because it is just so adjoining this area. And so it is impossible. Getting permission from Sarpanch, etc. is not at all a good excuse. But of course, it has to be gone into in detail. But I think that is not a good excuse. And this is a bane, surrounding the major city, there are panchayats and so on. But it doesn't mean that panchayat can give permission as they like. They have to follow the master plan, which is if it is coming under the master plan area. So that is not at all a good argument on the face of it. But of course, one has checked the records. But you made one more point with you. I seek your permission to just say a few words on that. You mentioned that the government departments offices are also there in the same floodplain. It's a very serious matter because when we are talking of reclaiming the land, then we cannot say that selective. It's very awkward and it may not test the scrutiny in a court of law. Because if you are concerned about ecology and environment and flooding and so on, then who is the owner of the building is immaterial. Whether it is a school, you mentioned about a school also, you mentioned about the government offices, all have to go.
All
If really we are doing it for the sake of environment protection.
Yes. On that note, I'll have to let you go. I've completely run out of time. Thank you so much, Dr. Krishna. Thank you so much, Shyam Prasad Meka, for joining us. Coming up next, Karnataka High Court gives a kind of relief, lease of life to Siddaramaiah. Schedules next hearing on plea against prosecution on 31st of August. That's coming up after the break.
Give it to me, pass. We'll put new glasses in the windows and they keep breaking it. This is the fourth time you are playing football throughout the day. Will you win the world by playing football?
Yes, uncle. I will now conquer the world by playing football. Let's go to Germany.
World's largest football talent hunt, News 9 Indian Tigers and Tigresses. In association with DFB Pokal, Bundesliga, BVB and India Football Center. Train and play matches in Europe. Register now and fly to Germany. IndianTigersandTigresses.com.
This is News 9 Live, India's only digital exclusive live stream. For the early adopters, bringing you the news 24/7. For the smart audiences on the smartest TVs. News 9 Live. Stream now on your smart TVs.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी.
Terrorism always flows like water. It will go in the direction where there is no obstacle.
Bloodbath in Jammu. 5 soldiers die after terrorists open fire at an army convoy in Kathua.
Pakistan essentially is doing is opening a new frontier in the Jammu region.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
All right, that's our next story. Siddha to wait out on MUDA. Today, the court, of course, said that the next hearing will be on 31st of August. So we are discussing, has he got a new lease of life? Has he got a bit of a relief? Siddaramaiah, as you well know, the MUDA scam was something which came and put a lot of pressure on Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. On 16th of August, Governor Gehlot allowed 3 private individuals to seek investigations against Siddaramaiah on complaints of corruption in the allotment of 14 housing sites in Mysuru to the wife of the Chief Minister in exchange for 3.16 acres of land allegedly acquired illegally by a local authority. Now, there were complaints 3. T.J. Abraham, who is of course an activist, Snemai Krishna and Pradeep Kumar, they all alleged no way the CM's wife was of course culpable and illegal beneficiary of the controversial land exchange scheme that was devised by MUDA, that is the Mysore Urban Development Authority. Now, Siddaramaiah obviously vehemently denied it, and he said that his wife's complicity was zero. He said that the launch of MUDA's decision to allot 14 plots to his wife Parvati took place in 2020 and 21 when the BJP was in power. The point is right now that Siddaramaiah did everything in his kind of, a control to see to it that he garners enough support for him. Also, he padded himself up very well by seeking legal counsel. Let me now get the guests in. First is my colleague Mohammad Wajiullah, who will tell us what exactly happened, and then B.S. Arun, senior journalist, who's joining us on the phone line. Waji, I am saying bit of relief for Siddaramaiah because he was on tenterhooks. There are no two ways about it. Tell us what all happened in court today.
The counsel for Chief Minister argued, Abhishek Manu Singhvi argued today in front of the High Court, and he clearly maintained that the sanctions that have been put against the chief minister have not been, there's no mind that has been applied by the governor with this regard. So he was very harsh with his words. He even went on to say that the governor who's at a position like this should go through the respondent and have a merit to the complainant, and that is when the matter could be heard. The Abhishek Manu Singhvi also added on behalf of the chief minister that the charges of section 17A, that is the act of corruption against him, should also be put down, because there was no way and in no position that Siddaramaiah has interfered in this particular matter, is what Abhishek Manu Singhvi also argued. He said that be it the chief minister or DCM when he was in the previous regimes, that he interfered in this case. So that section also should be argued. So Abhishek Manu Singhvi basically argued on behalf of the chief minister and maintained his mark that the governor who's taken a decision or put a sanction on this particular case has not gone on to see the other cases which have been charge sheeted, which have been investigated and charge sheeted by agencies. So he put that also across to the High Court, saying that what we see today is that the governor picking up a case from somebody from the street and putting it, and he's also gone on to point out that the governor should also realize that the person against whom he's put the case is the chief minister who's come out of a large mandate. So that was what we saw today in the court, the points that were laid down by Abhishek Manu Singhvi. What we know now is on Saturday, Solicitor General Tushar Mehta will also reply, and the counsels from the governor's side will put their case forward. So we'll have to wait till Saturday.
So waiting for 2 days, but even 3 days, Vaji, I mean, I'm sorry to interject, but B.S. Arun is also waiting. B.S. Arun, some kind of a relief for Siddaramaiah, gives him more elbow space, as it were, because let's look at it, Arun, the seers have been supporting him. He's got support from the Dalits and the backwards and the, the Ahindra group, as it were. Also, there is legal, counsel that he has. He's been going on marches, one after the other. He's rattled. No to, I'm sticking my neck out. But Arun, do you think that, will you see it as relief for Siddaramaiah, who was actually on hot coals for so many days?
No, I don't see it as a relief at all, because it's only for a matter of a few days, maybe till Monday. And, after that, maybe the judgment for maintainability would be reserved, and after a few days, the judge will give his judgment. So it's only a matter of days now, but which way the court decision will go, nobody knows. Only the judge would be knowing at the end of the arguments. So, but as rightly mentioned, Siddaramaiah has been rattled. He is on the tenterhooks, and all these Padyata or the marches, the demonstrations by supporters are, of course, a big show. So that's to show that he has the support of the people. But that's a different matter, because the case is now being fought, in the courts. It's a legal case. So, the outcome would matter. Which way the court will go, I think, will have a huge impact on the political future of not just Siddaramaiah, but of Karnataka itself.
Very, very well said, and that's all I have time for. Thank you so much. This was quick, sweet and short. Thank you so much, Arun, and thank you, Vajiullah, for joining us. And coming up next, an exclusive interview with WCC founding member Revathy Asha on the Hema Committee report and the fallout of it. Coming up next on your screens. All right, that's the story, Revathy, exclusive on the South Indian. Let me also get you the latest on the fallout of the Hema Committee report, bring you up to speed, as it were. The police has slapped sexual assault charges on actors Jayasurya and Mukesh and non-bailable cases against both. The SIT has begun its investigation and started recording complaints and statements officially. So far, more than 17 complaints have been received, and there are indications that this number may actually go up. Police have slapped rape charges against actors Maniyan Pilla Raju and Edevela Babu over a complaint filed by a female actor in Kochi. In more trouble for director Ranjit Balakrishnan, a man from Kozhikode has filed a special abuse complaint against him. Ranjit had to step down, as if you may recall, as the chairperson of the Kerala Chalachitra Academy following sexual harassment complaints. You know what? In more ways than one, it was the WCC. the Women in Cinema Collective, which was formed after the 2017 assault by actor Dilip on an actress, that took it upon itself to give a voice and space to those who were facing gender bias and misogyny in the industry. Today, we are extremely pleased to be joined by one of the founding members of WCC, National Award winner, actor and director Revathy Asha. A very warm welcome to you, Revathy Asha. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast.
Thank you, thank you.
I just want to know, we've been watching this and I've been following this story for almost now a fortnight and spoken to several people, stakeholders, people who've been impacted, spoke to Minu Munir as well. Now going forward, what is it that you expect should happen? Revathy.
So basically the Hema Committee Report was to study the issues in the industry and this snowballing effect was not something that we expected, that people would come out suddenly into the open and talk about, harassment. But that is actually, it is emotionally kind of hit us a lot. It's not that, we want to tell that our industry is, bad and that every day there are issues. It was not that. The main issue was that we wanted to change the way people looked at us, especially our male colleagues looked at us, from our actors, directors, producers, the spot managers, everybody.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So I also want to ask you, there are some voices, of course, very, very, I don't want to name them, we know Parvati has, of course, spoken about it. There are some questions which are coming up, which also came up when the Hema Committee report came up, which is about being cornered, being ostracized, being driven into a box because you've spoken out. Revathy Asha, it's not just in your industry, but any industry. When a woman gets up and speaks, she's considered to be a problem. She's considered to be somebody who's a bad influence, and she's asked to leave because, they can't possibly accommodate her. Do you fear that that will happen, rapidly? Because several of these people whom I've spoken to, who've complained against Jai Surya or Mukesh or, Edavala Babu, they say that we are being now, bullied, cyber bullied. People are calling, they call, leave a message, and then I don't even know who it is. So this kind of harassment is going on.
The special investigation team that has been set up by the Chief Minister at the present moment, I really wish this team kind of stops this cyberbullying. You're very right. They're all being very badly bullied and you can do nothing about it because they are nameless, faceless people talking anything and everything, and it hurts, So I really wish this team kind of stops this and say that they should bring a very strong, vigilant law that if anybody bullies any of these women who speak out in the open, they will be, charged. So this is not right. The women have the space, they have the right to talk about what has happened to them, and if they decide to talk about it and go all the way with a case, they should have the freedom. When you stop anybody,
yes,
men, when you stop anybody from complaining and you attack them from all four angles, what does it say? It talks about the society that kind of prosecutes the survivors and the victims and let the perpetrators go. So what are you doing for our kids and for our next generations? What kind of example are we setting?
Right. This is, of course, like you said, you don't want to really cherry pick on Malayalam film industry. Although you've worked in all the regional languages of the South, you've also acted in Hindi, you've directed in Hindi. People know you as a pan-Indian artist, as it were. But I want to ask you something. You've worked, I don't want to specifically for you to say, because your statements on both Mohanlal and Mammootty were that, look, I'm feeling bad, I hope they are also, but you've acted with them in Devasuram and other films which I've watched also. What was the equation at that time, Revathy Asha? Because you see some very I want to use the right word, Revathy. I don't want to use the wrong word because these are also women. Sharada Amma, who's part of the Hema Committee, with due respects to her, I'm a great fan. But she said, look at all these heroines, the way they dress, they talk about their private lives openly, etc., etc. A lot of women, even Urvashi, ma'am, has come out and spoken about this. I want to know from you that was it the same when you were doing it? Maybe, it's about who gets away and who gets caught, Revathy Asha. It's like life.
See, when we are working together with, it's what do you say? We are working in a creative industry. And when we are creating something, we put our all into it. And everybody is like a group of people trying to put a beautiful project together, from the director to actors to everybody. So it's like a large group, and there is a lot of camaraderie. There's a lot of conversation to kind of create a film, because in the end, people watch the film and they see and they kind of connect with it. They get involved with it. When you're talking about a cause, when you're talking about, even if it is humor, drama, everything, everybody gets involved. So that happens only when the entire unit works like a team. And that is what we've done for years. I've worked with all of them like a team, and I've always cherished those memories. And, it's just that there is a part of the industry which I don't know how to put the word, but I was lucky that I did not see when I was completely working, but I did know about it. I heard about it. And at a couple of moments, I have stood up against it. So, as you said very rightly, over decades, centuries, any woman who speaks up is always sidelined. She is the troublemaker. And that is what, I have been termed for many years that, she speaks her mind and she be a troublemaker.
Thank God for you and others who do. Revathy Asha, there are lots of questions. A lot of women in the newsroom were asking that you formed the WCC after the 2017 grotesque incident of Dilip, molesting an actress in a driving car.
I would say that it was a assault on our colleague, and several people have been prosecuted, and the questioning is still going on. It's
all right. Okay, so it's sub judice. Okay, fine. But then like Pulsar, yeah, sure. But I want to ask you that what propelled you, a group of women from the industry? This could have happened, like we hear about it in Tamil also. A very senior actor, who was also heading kind of an institution in Tamil Nadu. He also came onto the stage and spoke disparagingly about women. I've seen it happening in Telugu industry, Kannada I don't know. But what was it that propelled you? Is it to give a voice? Is it to give cognizance that, look, this is happening? We are not going to sit on judgment. Let someone else take the onus. Revathy Asha.
So the Kerala is an educated society per se, and the women, they are very forward thinking, most of them. So when we heard about this, and a few of us got on WhatsApp and said, what happened? Should we do something? Should we just hold hands? What do we do? And she had the courage to go and speak to the police the very night. Not many people have that courage, and she did. And that kind of propelled us, saying that, my God, now what? And, all of us just got together, and slowly the group became larger and larger. And then we realized people started talking about their own experiences. And suddenly, that one incident, there was a whole lot of outburst of, younger girls coming and talking to us about incidents. And that's when this very casual WhatsApp group became WCC. And that is when we met the Chief Minister, and we requested him for a study of our industry to see to it that, what we call as gossip becomes a black and white written report.
Very
that is made us do what we did.
Fantastic. Now, do you see any changes considering the entire AMA which was there has now been disbanded, it's defunct, and a new AMA, of course, after elections will be put together. What do you expect, Revathy Asha? Because a lot of women here have had problems with the way AMA has functioned. It seems to be full of patriarchal, judgmental men who sit there. They are the ones who are making their decision, because let's not pussyfoot around this. I mean, the industry, you know, the money, the purse string sometimes is in the hands of the men, and thank God for directors like you and also others in the industry who are directing and who are taking decisions. But by and large, what do you expect of the AMA now?
Wherever there is money, power, fame, things are different. And that is exactly what it is, even in our industry. And there are voices who speak, but they are not heard. So I'm just hoping that those voices inside the Association of Malayalam Movie Artists also are now heard, and they should be heard loud and clear, so that the whole perspective changes. See, when the Internal Complaints Committee was set up in the association, they dismantled it because the committee members said that their decision was not upheld, it was not respected. Then what is the point of a committee like this? So there are voices who want to, give their opinion, but they're not heard out. I hope people understand that, we need to hear everybody out. We need to listen, our voice should not be the only one.
Right. And on that note, thank you so much, Revathy Asha, for joining us and keeping the flag aloft for all of us sisters, so that we have a voice. We have a voice, and we can.
Thank you for taking this national, because it is a very important movement, and we don't want it to die down like most of these movements that just come up in a flash and die. We want this to be ongoing and make a change definitively. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Revathy Asha there speaking about what she expects going forward of AMA. Coming up next, Siddaramaiah meets officials of the 16th Finance Commission. What is he asking for? So Siddaramaiah, Chief Minister of Karnataka, is asking for 55,000 crores investment in Bengaluru over next 5 years. He held a meeting with officials from the 16th Finance Commission, and he said this. And in his address to the Commission, Siddaramaiah added that Bengaluru needed an investment of nothing less than 55,000 crores over the next 5 years, and out of this he requested for a grant of 27,000 crores. He claimed that Karnataka required a greater devolution of funds by the centre, as the state is facing regional imbalances and also the challenges of urbanization. If you may recall, a couple of months ago, Siddaramaiah was in Delhi and protesting against what he called was the unfair treatment to states, and also brought up the devolution of taxes issue. Siddaramaiah also said that all the non-tax revenues of the centre should be included in the divisible pool of taxes by bringing in necessary constitutional amendment. He also further added that there was a severe imbalance between what the state contributed in terms of revenue and what it got in return. This is a topic that most of the chief ministers in the south have said. Siddaramaiah, Muka Stalin, Pinarayi Vijayan, Revanth Reddy, you name it, except for, of course, Chandrababu Naidu, who's in alliance with the NDA. Siddaramaiah also added that Karnataka contributed around 4 lakh crores to the GST revenue, but got only about 45,000 crores in the form of devolution. Considering that Siddaramaiah is somebody who has handled several budgets in his career, I'm sure he knows what he's speaking about. All right then, end of the South Indian show. As promised, some of the other top headlines from the region. Take a look. Vanakkam.
Fast, 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 fast.
My God, isn't she your daughter?
Yes.
She's playing football. This is boys' game. Make her study. If she doesn't get a good job, she will get a good match. Will you win the world by playing football?
Yes, auntie. My daughter will win the world